Hello and welcome to Talk About, a series of discussions from Pet Industry Federation. My name's Dan and I'm the Ops Manager here at PIF, and I am joined today by Rachel Spencer, who's an accredited business coach, journalist, and the one I like most, a holiday cottage owner, which is also dog friendly. Today we're going to be looking to how better planning can help you feel more in control of your business if you're a sole trader or a business owner. Rachel, it's wonderful to have you here to share your insights.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks so much for having me as well. It's really good to be here. So I'm Rachel. I'm a journalist. I've worked in journalism for many years, started in like the 90s, but I got a dog and I then became obsessed with her and finding out about things that you could do with your dog, like dog products, dog friendly places to go and all that kind of thing. So I started writing more about that. And then I started writing about people who were making a difference in the pet world, people who ran charities, rescues, that kind of thing. And then I decided, because I really wanted to go into a bit more detail and depth with those stories, I'd start a pet blog. And that led to me working with small businesses who wanted to be on the blog and then helping them with press coverage. I wrote a book in 2018 about how to get press coverage. And then that kind of led me to where we are now, a bit of an accidental business, really, because I now don't do any journalism anymore. And I work solely with small businesses who want to feel good about putting themselves out there, because it's hard, isn't it? Like, I used to show people just press coverage, and that is really hard. Like, that takes a lot of guts and being courageous and everything. But now I help people with the confidence around that as well. So I did my coaching training, started that in like 2022. And that was so I could help with the more kind of emotional side of running a business, because, we're putting ourselves out there, we're being vulnerable, we're worrying about what people think. And, we take things personally, and our businesses are our babies, aren't they? So yeah, that's how I support people. And then I also have a very dog friendly holiday cottage, which I get very excited about, called Sunnyside Cottage in Robin Hood's Bay. It was like a total dream for me to have a dog friendly cottage for many, many years. And I've basically made it everything that I would want as a dog owner. So it's really over the top. We've got like everything is centered around the dog. And yeah, and I just love running it. We've got treats, we've got like dog robes, we've got everything you could possibly want when you take your dog on holiday there. So yeah, really
I've
love
also
that.
heard it's fully booked, so you might need to acquire an additional premises.
I'd love to have another one. I would, but I don't have the money, unfortunately. Yeah, one day, you never know.
So it's very unusual for me to be interviewing a journalist. So pressure's on me a little bit as the host, but you're going back to kind of the business coaching side of your business, and today's topic, planning. You've also got your own content planner, haven't you? Can you tell our
Yes.
audience a little bit more about the content planner? And I think is this the second year you've been doing this?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing yours along
We'll
because
get out of the way early.
I know, at my mum's today and I've not brought it with me, so thanks, Dan. Yeah, I decided to make a planner because I actually will be honest and say that I wasn't very good at planning, but I'm a lot better now. What I was finding basically in that planner is everything that I found people struggle with. So there's different exercises around things like planning projects, around find yourself comparing yourself to others on social media when you need to, really like kind of work with the energy that you've got. Maybe you've had some stuff going on personally and you can't, be firing on all cylinders. There's like little coaching exercises in there. It's also got all of the key awareness days in, which from a journalist perspective are really helpful. That's what I used to always use to plan my content, because when I was working for like a newspaper, I used to write a pet column, and you'd need to be thinking about what you were writing in, we're recording this in February, but I'd need to be thinking about May, June, July. So I'd look at the dates, look at what was going on in the diary, look at the awareness days, and then I would be able to work out what I'd need to be writing about in, 3 months' time. So they're all in there. And then the other things in there are things like forward planning for each quarter, space for every month to think about, okay, what do I need to focus on this month? What different products are going to work for me in this month? For example, if you sell cooling mats, and you're going to be talking about them in July, but you're not going to be talking about them in February, and so on. And then the other thing that I have in there, which again is something that I never used to do, but I do really try and encourage people to do now, is like a pause and reflect section at the end of every month. So the idea is with that, is that you come back to looking at what worked, what you enjoyed doing, what was successful. You can put your financials in there if you want to, and then you can think about what I'm going to take forward and maybe what might I not do anymore. Because, for example, if you do puppy classes, but they're not really filling up, but you found lots of people want to do scent work with you, then you might want to switch things up a little bit. So the idea is that you have lots of different things in there to help you bring your focus back to you and what's working and what you're enjoying, and check in rather than running around like a lunatic, which I know we do, and we have so many hats to wear and plates to spin, but coming back and thinking, okay, what should I be doing more of, and being more strategic, a word I can't even say, and, and a bit more thoughtful. And also to the point where you can plan ahead and you can have your social media posts or your blogs or your emails or your other marketing material scheduled and organized so you can get on with doing what you really like doing, which might be making your product or going and, looking after the animals, whatever it is that you want to be doing, rather than the stuff that people do find hard, which is the marketing side, isn't it?
So I'm really fascinated how you brought the book together. Was it all your own research, or did you have any input from any of the businesses that you coach or your network? It's no small feat bringing this together and actually getting it printed, hardback, and
Oh,
out there.
thank you. So as far as the all of the kind of all the diary section I do, so that's, going and researching all the dates and stuff. And some of them move around, which is quite stressful. But anyway, I do that bit myself. The coaching exercises, they are exercises that I've learned while training to be a coach myself, but also that I've found have been helpful with my clients. So when things come up like overwhelm, the project planning exercise is really good for that. So actually you look at it and it looks a bit bonkers. It's like a bingo card system, but I know that that worked because I did it on a group coaching call with a group of my one-to-one clients, and it did work really well. So the idea is that it's a bit fun and it's like you're not going to see it in anybody else's plan, to put it that way. The exercises in there have got all kinds of like creative illustrations. So I know you've had a on the show before, but you've Kate
Yep,
Henry from
Bimbo Studios.
So Kate designs it for me, and she's absolutely amazing. She's a branding lady and she's a designer and she's just so talented. So I will go to her with like a flat plan of what's going to be where, and then she brings it all to life. So like there's an illustration of like a donkey that's weighed down, like remember like the seaside donkeys when we were kids and we go to Blackpool and they'd be like, they'd be carrying people all day and they'd be exhausted. So that's to illustrate, when you're working yourself to the point of burnout, and to be kind to yourself, things like that. So it's a mix of evidence-based coaching exercises that I've learned and studied, and then things I've seen people need and have found helpful, and then bringing the two of them together to make it really relevant to people who've got pet businesses.
So I know, Rachel, you're not really a salesperson, so I'll help you along with this. So the book is obviously available. PIF is a trade association, and for any members listening to this or watching us, there is a hot member perks offer at the moment. So there is a discount on the book. So if you receive last week's PIF newsletter into your inbox, the offer is in that email, or you can log into the members on the PIF website to access the discount code. So if we're going to bring this back to the topic of today, it's all about planning. So Rachel, you work with a lot of pet professionals and businesses who are, like most, spinning many plates and juggling multiple roles. What is the one sign or red flag that business owners' lack of planning is actually starting to hurt their growth rather than just making them feel a bit busy?
Yeah, I think the key thing would be literally feeling like your head is about to explode and dropping the ball, missing opportunities, missing inquiries from customers, missing really good things, like from my perspective, like really good visibility and collaboration opportunities. And just that feeling like you're on a treadmill that just keeps getting faster and faster and faster. And I know this because I've totally done it myself. And often that can be due to a number of reasons. It might be because you've had like really rapid growth, or it might be because you are doing all of the things that you used to do when you were growing, when you were starting out as a business, and you might have been on several different social media platforms, or you might have had lots of different offers, and now it's like you've literally built this beast, and there's arms and legs sprouting from all over the place. So that is, I think, is a sign. It is that I can't cope, that feeling of real overwhelm, and that feeling of the treadmill just keeps getting faster and faster, and you just can't keep up. And that's the point where having good people around you and being part of something like PIF is really, really valuable, because, you've got a Facebook group that people can go into and they can put, they can go and share how they're feeling at any time. And obviously they can pick up the phone. There's lots of different ways that they can support you, and they can go and look at the resources that are there. But, you're ultimately, I think we know in our guts and in our hearts, don't we, when we're doing too much and the things that we need to maybe outsource, maybe get some help with. And we know that. And I think why being part of an organisation like PIF is really useful is you can find trusted people, trusted providers who can help you. And that might be a VA, it might be someone to help with your website or your branding, or to help you with like navigating, going into wholesale or something like that. There's so many different things that we think we can do. And also thinking about, like, when you're doing things, could Is there an easier way for me to do this?
And I think as a business owner, that's a natural emotion. You're
Yeah.
not on your own. There's many other business owners in that same situation. And we see that from our Business of Pets conference, which we run every year in June. It's great for us to see that business owners come together and, share their experiences and their emotions and the challenges that they're going through. And then, they can then formulate a plan. Do you think it's good to write down on a bit of paper those emotions to help to help the business owners?
I think, yes, I do. Now, if you'd asked me that like 5 years ago, I would have been like dismissive as such, but I really have changed my perspective on things. And I think, again, it might sound a bit fluffy and a bit snowflakey, but emotions are a really big part of running a business, aren't they? We are hugely attached to what we do. We do what we do because we care about whether it's a product that we provide. We care and we do it because of that. And I think there's a lot to be said when you are in that really overwhelmed state of turn your phone off, get away from your laptop, take a piece of paper and go and sit somewhere quiet. It might be, a cafe, wherever it is that's going to help you feel calm, and get everything out that you're feeling, get all of the things out of your head that you're working on, all of the different things that you need to fit into your business. And, if you can make this a regular thing, then do. Um, and get it all down and onto a page or however works for you. But I think having that visual in front of you will help you see why you are feeling the way that you are. And also, I have like I'll give you the link to it that you can, if people want to go and download it. But I've got like a wall planner, so it's a big, you can print it out, you can put it on the wall, and that can, again, you can just fill out the dates where you've committed to things, and that can also take away some of the
Yeah.
overwhelm as well. But even just taking that time to sit down when you are in that really overwhelmed state and think, okay, these are all the different things that I'm doing. Is there anything that I should be focusing on now? And then maybe, winding down a little bit. Is there something I could take a break with? Is there something that could get some help with? Like I've got a podcast and I used to do it, did it weekly for like 5 years, but I had loads of things going on like in my normal life, like personally a couple of years ago, like just relationship breakdown and bereavements and stuff. And I just couldn't I just had to look at everything I was doing and I had to really pull back from loads of things. And one of them was a podcast, the other was a free Facebook group. And it's like, I just can't do this anymore. And I knew him, but I do think there's real, and I remember actually sitting down and like, there was so many things had happened and I just had to sit down and just get my head together. And I did that thing where you write down, okay, what have I got going on and what can I just get rid of for now or stop for now because I'm really struggling. And we're
Yeah.
all going to go through that, aren't we? Like,
Yeah, there we are. So, as
got a
you
young
know,
child.
recently hosted Kate Hendry and Kirsty Skeets, and the subject was about AI. What's your feelings on people kind of using AI as kind of that emotional shoulder for their feelings and their planning? There's no right or wrong answer.
No, there isn't a right or wrong answer, right? Right, I love AI, and it's amazing. I do think particularly we've talked about like the massive amount of work that we have to do, haven't we? It's really, really good for lightening the load. And actually it is a good sounding board for things. It is like, I mean, I will fact Christy will have said this because I've interviewed her. Like some of the platforms are people pleasers, so they'll tell you what they want you to hear. Some of them can be really harsh as well, and they will be really harsh on you. And I think remember that AI is not a person. And if you have got somebody you can go and talk to, whether it's your mum or your friend or someone else who's got a business or you know what I mean, somebody who gets it, that's going to help as well. But AI is a really good sounding board, particularly if you are really overwhelmed and you've just had an email that's landed and you're like, oh my God, I really want to just go off my head at this email. And I feel really hurt by it or it's really annoyed me. If you put it into AI, you're going to get a much calmer response. AI is there, I think, definitely to be by your side, but I wouldn't use it for like your 100% emotional support. I would definitely go and think about a human you can go and connect with as well. But it's definitely a good, definitely it's something that's there for you all the time.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's there in
yeah,
the
no,
moment.
definitely. So I think, we both agree that planning helps business owners stay in control, feel like they're in control. For example, if you're a groomer or a dog walker, who's maybe stuck in the day-to-day grind of doing what they do day in, day out, how can they find, the mental headspace to step back and start planning for the future? Maybe that's growing the business or taking on new staff or just consolidating what they've got, which there's nothing the matter with. Not every business has to grow and scale.
Definitely. I think there's so much in taking time out of your business, isn't there? And that can be going to a conference like the one that you run. You get loads from it, don't you? Or it can be going and going away with a pad and paper and having a cup of tea and some cake and just having that time to sit down and think, all right, it's the end of the month. How was it? Or I'm looking at the beginning of next month. Where are the, where's the leaky bucket? Where am I missing out on things? Or where might I be losing customers? Where could I be better? And what support can I bring in? And again, with stuff like this, actually, if you have gone away and just taken a little bit of time for you to do a little bit of planning, you can then go to AI and say, okay, I've got all of these ideas. Can you help put together a bit of a plan for me? With social media, that's the big thing that people kind of come to me with. It's always like, I'm busy and I can't be on social media when I'm busy. And I get that.
Mm,
S If you have got that time to, if you take, even if it's an hour at the end of every month or at the beginning of every month, to think about, okay, I need to be on social media. What do I need to talk about? And you literally just, you might record a voice note, you might get a transcript, you might write notes, whatever you do, and think about the things that you've got going on. Let's say you're a dog groomer. Let's say you're a dog groomer and you can only groom 20 dogs a week. Okay, how can we, is there anything seasonal that we can turn into offers? Are we doing the follow up? Are we doing the booking for your next grooms? What are the things that we can do to make sure that we get those grooms booked in, those 20 grooms filled every week? It might be sharing your calendar, your availability calendar at the beginning of every month. It might be sharing an offer. It might be sharing a newsletter. You might plan your so all of those things, thinking about, okay, what do I need to do each month? Where do I need to be? And then with your social media, it's like, take a bit of time to like make notes. Let's, again, using the dog groomer as an example, make notes. You're going to have your client notes anyway at the end of every session. Can you look at your client notes and think, Sammy the cockapoo came in, but he was a little bit matted. Here's, a free resource or something I've written about keeping your dog's coat in good condition in between grooms, and you can share that. So rather than thinking, oh my God, I'm really overwhelmed, I haven't got anything to post, you can look at your notes and think, actually, what can I take from what's been going on in my business and use the resources I've already got? So having that, although it might feel counterintuitive, because you've got so much going on, like just having, even if it's just an hour to do a bit of
yeah.
planning every month and think about your content. I was having this chat with a dog trainer the other day, because she was saying whenever she gets busy, she totally drops the ball with social media. But it's like, just give yourself
Mm,
an hour, blur everything out onto a piece of paper or into AI, and then that will write most of your posts for you. You can tweak it, edit it a little bit, go and find some relevant pictures. You're going to have them in your phone, and then, get those scheduled. Get, maybe if it's a post a week out there, then at least you've got one post a week going out,
yeah.
and then any more you can add, great. And then
I
as
think
far as,
I'd
yeah,
agree that digital marketing gives the best of us a headache and can lead to burnout. On both sides, is there any tools that you recommend to your network to use, or probably showing my age a bit, any more traditional methods, to raise awareness about your business that are maybe overlooked nowadays?
wow, thanks, Dan. So yeah, tools, like I think any transcription tool, but you can transcribe on your phone now and get your transcripts into AI and get it to tweak and rewrite it for you. For photo organisation, Dropbox, that's like 100 quid a year, but oh my gosh, it's incredible. You can put all your videos on there and put things in folders. That really helps. Other ways to get yourself out there, I would say, I'm really, really passionate about blogging and newsletters. Blogging on your website, you're going to be writing loads anyway. You can use AI to help you get those blogs on topics people are searching for around what you do on your website, and then you can repurpose them. And then the other one, which people are actually starting to warm up to again, is getting press coverage, because of all the changes with AI. Digital PR is now being seen as really desirable again. So press coverage is really valuable. And,
Yeah.
things like being shortlisted for a PIF award, that's newsworthy. Being in business for 5 years, that's newsworthy. Having a new product or service is newsworthy. Like, I help people every single day get press coverage for things that you would just think are so ordinary and boring. And, journalists want to hear from you. They've got huge news outlets, huge platforms that they need to fill. Every staff journalist I know who's working online now is producing like 14 stories a day, whether that's national, local, regional. It's so much. So if you can go to them with a press release that's ready to go, then they can literally cut and paste it, put it on their platform. They're happy, you're happy. And it's something sitting on Google working for you. I get bookings from a holiday cottage from a Guardian article that went out 3 years ago, and it's working for me so hard, like week in, week out.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people are so hung up on the vanity metrics of
Yeah,
social media, whether they post or publish or share, they're looking for those likes, they're looking for that engagement, but that's not the be all and end all, is it?
no. And the good thing about press coverage, right, is that I mean, you do get the comments. If you go in, like, if you end up on like the Mail online, you might get some horrible people writing nasty things about you, but you don't have the vanity metrics. It
Mm.
just goes up, and then it's like, well, okay, well, that's done now. And I can write a press release in probably an hour, and I can help a client, write a press release really quickly. So for an hour of your time, and maybe a little bit of time researching, it's there, and it does work hard, and you don't have to worry about checking the comments or anything.
Yeah, and we recently ran an event in London with Mintel and a digital agency called Herd, and there was a pet food manufacturer, and they've been on Dragon's Den, and the traffic to their website organically and social media just naturally went up because they were
Yeah.
using the traditional form of TV.
So, I mean, being on Dragon's Den's like a dream, isn't it?
Yeah. But, with dreams do come nightmares. So, things do go wrong in business. So contingency planning, is that something that pet business owners or anyone in the pet sector should kind of have in their back pocket?
Definitely. So life will just throw some rubbish at you, won't it? Or things will just happen in your life, like, that just happen. You're having maybe growing a family, maybe you've got relatives that need caring for, maybe fall over. I know of a business member who had a terrible knee accident. She wasn't able to, she's a pet sitter, and that's been really, really tough for her. Things will happen. Thinking about like what is your contingency plan? Who is going to step in for you if you can't be there and be you running your business? I mean, I'm a one person band, and like I've had things happen in my life, and with me, I've had to strip it back. So what does that look like for you? If
Yeah.
you've got a team, obviously it's different. You've got people who can step in and look after you. But if let's say if you are a service provider, is there somebody who might be able to come and support you? What do you do? How do you communicate? So it's thinking about what happens if, and having a plan in place, which then that gives you peace of mind. And this is another thing. I know the AI talk was brilliant as well, but this is another thing you could have a chat with AI about, and actually you can work together as a thinking partner and put that plan together, because
Yeah.
AI, I would feel overwhelmed by thinking about, oh God, what happens if? But if I have a conversation with AI about it, it's just we're just having a conversation, and it will do it all for me. So that's a good thing to think about, actually, no matter what business you have, to work on it that way, and that will definitely make it quicker and take away
Yeah.
the overwhelm. And then I think the other contingency is, like, I know it might sound like the prophet of doom here, but thinking about what is the worst case scenario that might happen with my product or my service or what I do, and I know it sounds awful to say this, but like, what's the worst thing that could happen to me online, and reputation, and thinking about what would happen if. So you have that plan there as well. I've worked with a lot of people over the years where, like, I've had a groomer who, nicked a little dog's ear, and the owner just, it went on social media, and it looked so, so bad. And this poor groomer had done nothing wrong. She took the dog straight to the vets. It blew up, and it was awful for her. It all settled down eventually. But, when you're in that moment, when you're in the horrible storm that is people really laying into you and people are vicious, aren't they? And with animals, it's so emotional. When you're in it, it's horrible. So with things like that, it's really trying to think about like what the worst case scenario is. And if something like that does happen, try and be calm, try and talk to somebody who is reasonable, put together a statement. And then for every time somebody says, you're the world's worst dog groomer, how
Yeah.
dare you do that to the dog? It's like, we did this, we took the dog to the vets, this is what happened. And then all you post is that. You don't get involved, and then you try and speak to the person, the original poster, the owner, and diffuse that situation, get it.
So you're sticking to the facts and,
Yeah, yeah,
taking
yeah.
the emotion out of it.
Yeah, because it's hard, isn't it? It's really hard when you are like in the eye of a horrible situation.
Yeah. So the pen industry, it has lots going on throughout the year. That could be the PIF Awards in November, or we've got Crufts. We're recording this in February, coming up in March. I'm not going to confess to looking at every page in here, but I'm sure those two events may or may not be in there. And so, for example, if someone has booked to stand at Crufts or is planning to enter the PIF Awards, how can they plan and get ready for that? Working backwards from the dates of the events to where they are today, to make sure, that entry is ready or they've got everything ready to actually exhibit at Crufts.
Yeah, so there's so much that goes on, isn't there, with
Yes.
something like go. So, I mean, I've done Edition Dog Live, and I had a tiny stand, and just that for like a really tiny business, for my small holiday cottage. There was a lot that went on, and I was really disorganized as well. So thinking about everything that you need for your stand, who's going to cover you, and also having help there as well. Who do you want to be talking to? Who can you connect with beforehand? And then also thinking about it as a bit of a real, really good visibility opportunity as well. So what can you be writing about before? Who can you be sharing it with? Being at Crufts is really prestigious. And, you will want, if you're a dog trainer or if you're a dog product maker, whatever it is that you're doing at Crufts, you want people to know about it because it is a really prestigious thing to be at. So thinking about how you want to communicate that and the different ways and how to make that a little bit easier for yourself as well. So you might create a big core piece of content that you put on your website and share as a newsletter, but then that's chopped up into different sections for social media. So, what we're going to be doing at Crufts, how to connect, why this is important to us, where the idea for our product came from. We're really breaking it down. And then for something, also, press coverage as well. It's prestigious to be at Crufts. So you can pitch to your local press about it. I've got a template on my website that you can go and have a look at if you want to. If you were going, obviously, for the PIF Awards, it's like really taking that time. And it's really like applying for awards is such a good process, isn't it? Because it makes you stop and look at what you've done and why you do it, and actually have that moment where you see what you've achieved. So I think it's really valuable to apply.
Yeah, and from a person who's heavily involved with the PIF Awards, I think they are launched early. There is 2 to 3 months to put that application together. There's no rush. You don't have to be the first one to enter. You can put it on the last entrance day, but it's taking that time, to look at that criteria, plan your entry, plan your answers, and maybe even raise the application, but put it down for a few days or a week and come back to make
Yeah,
sure you are really getting across what you wanted to do to get the judge's attention.
definitely. And it is definitely something you want to have time and a lot of thought to go into, because you want to be getting everything, you want to be covering all of the right criteria, and you really want to be proud of your business, and don't be afraid to toot your own horn, but give yourself that time and space. And also, I know from applying, you can bring in supporting resources, so it's giving yourself time to get those links together, maybe testimonials, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
um and
And even on the awards night, going back to last November, having that contingency plan because there were some finalists who'd booked tickets and, it came to the day and they were unable to attend. So, and one of them did actually win, but, they had that contingency plan in place that, someone that they knew was attending was going to pick the award up for them. So it even comes down to an example like that.
yeah, I did that for Alison from Poochie Care. I went on
You just
stage
like
and
going on stage, don't you?
I loved it. Yeah, it was so. But she then met up with me in a pub near me, and then we did like a mini awards ceremony in the pub, and we did a video of me giving her the award. Anyway,
No, that was great for us because I actually needed that picture of you handing over the awards. That was, again, linking it back to the press coverage. Then we had that image for the press and to go on our website. So that plan really did work and was a great example. I think a common theme with these recordings is I keep reverting back to us being in the winter because it's still wet, dark, miserable, if I'm honest. But, maybe some business owners that, are feeling a bit frustrated. They want the better weather to come, maybe the seasonality to pick up. Things are getting back to busy periods. How can they get out of that mindset and planning for a busy period, say leading into school holidays, Easter holidays, or the summer period for a pet service business, when they're running at their optimum?
I think it's we can, in an ideal world, we can use these miserable quiet times, can't we, to really set ourselves up for
I struggle.
for the good times. So actually, it's thinking, okay, like looking at where you were, let's say, for example, you're a pet sitter and you were really busy in the summer holidays. Maybe have a look at your diary from that time and think about, okay, what could I have done back in February or March, whenever this goes out, that would have made life a bit easier for me in July when I was like literally, got cats flying everywhere and I'm tearing my hair out. So how can you use the downtime or the quieter times to set yourself up for when you're going to be busy? And also, again, like that forward planning. So I've got this holiday cottage and I will do, I look at what's going on at the beginning of the year and think, okay, what opportunities are there for me? What press opportunities can I, jump on? Maybe it's thinking about, actually, if we're in February, let's say if we're thinking about cat sitting, I've got a couple of cat sitters who I work with, and they're doing really amazing things, actually, really, really good stuff. Like the cat market has just really exploded, hasn't it? So this is a really good time for forward planning. And and actually thinking about, can I maybe go and get some press coverage now because I'm a bit quiet, and actually that's going to raise my profile. And then when people are Googling and looking for cat sitters in the summer, I'm here. And then the other thing you could be thinking about as well is, getting ahead with your social media and actually maybe having some resources ready for
Yeah.
those really busy months. I know the different platforms have different scheduling functionalities and stuff, aren't they? But if you can get some posts scheduled or even just written and in a folder so you can get them uploaded, for May when we're in February. I mean, how buzzing would you be if you did that? I mean, if I'm like 2 weeks ahead, I'm really, really chuffed. So
Yeah.
if I have content planned for right into the summer when I'm busy, that'd be amazing.
So I think if I was going to summarize this talk, I think planning isn't about being perfect. It's about giving yourself as a business owner the freedom to grow without the constant stress. What would your final thoughts be, Rachel?
Yes, definitely. Planning definitely doesn't have to be perfect either. It's about finding a system that works for you. And I know I've talked about content a lot in this chat, because that is what I inevitably end up talking about a lot. But it is about, again, might sound a little bit wishy-washy, but it's about thinking about, like, how do you want to be? Do you want to be frazzled and overwhelmed? Or do you want to have that space in your diary, in your weeks and in your months, and thinking about, okay, how am I going to get that? If I'm going to be running a free Facebook group and, grooming 7 dogs a day and doing all these different things, I'm not going to have that. So how can I change things? And that might be changing your calendar. It might be bringing in help. There's all kinds of different things, but it's thinking about, actually, how do I want to be at the PIF Awards in November? Do I want to be like, have even more grey hair than I have already, and be running in like with my dog grooming clothes on or whatever, and or do I want to be calm and be able to go and get my hair done and feel good and feel in a really good place? Because and I'm saying this for myself more than anybody else, but if you want to be that calm person, you've got to do the work. You've got to have the things in there to support you, haven't you? And it's not just about content. It's about, your lifestyle and about your friends and that downtime and all the things that make you feel good. So yeah,
Yeah, it's
yes,
really taking it back to basics, isn't it?
yeah. It's about thinking about you, isn't it? And putting you
Yeah.
first.
So, Rachel, I've really enjoyed this chat. So, if anyone listening or watching this back, if they'd like to find out more about the content planner or Sunnyside Cottage or your membership group, how do they get in contact with you?
Oh, thank you so much. It's been really good. So I'm on my website's rachelspencer.co.uk, and I'm on social media at Rachel Spencer UK on all platforms. The cottage is Sunnyside Cottage RHB. Just come and find me. You can email me. I'm Rachel at rachelspencer.co.uk. Be really, really good to chat. And yeah, there's loads of resources on my website, including a calendar, which comes with a wall planner as well. So we've talked a lot about planning today. If you actually want to go and grab a free wall planner, there is one you can go and get on my website. So if you just go to rachelspencer.co.uk/calendar, you'll see it there on the page. So yeah.
That's great. So, thank you everyone for watching or listening, and whichever your preferred method is. If you'd like to find out more about our next talk about, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.